Okay, Thursday morning, March 24th. So it's been about 2 days. I think I'll be doing videos about every other day now. I can't really say things have normalized, but there's a new not so normal. And so, I just don't want to keep repeating that air raid siren, this and that. So maybe I'll do some daily reporting. I'm just at the house. There's a broken up house. This isn't from bombing. This was like this before the war. This is like a just a abandoned house next door to the new apartment building where I live. So yeah, nothing so special. Just maybe a little change of scenery. You can see it looks like crap, So there's a lot of this in Ukraine that was like this before the war, and they got to clear it away and build new things. And that's what was happening, before this invasion happened. There was kind of a renaissance going on. Not so obvious, but it was subtly. You would see some old buildings disappear, old abandoned houses disappear, new apartment buildings come up. And it was slowly happening, like a real estate renaissance was going on. People were moving out of the old Soviet buildings into new apartments as the middle class here was developing. So the IT, it was mostly, I wouldn't say driven by IT, but generally middle class. IT is a big part of it, but there were other jobs in agriculture, transportation, small business that was also fueling this boom. People working abroad, sending home remittances to build, apartments and everything. So it was moving in the right direction. And what I liked about it is that there was no consumer or home loans. There are, but they're very hard to get. So it was fueled by savings money. People were buying the apartments in cash, or buying and paying all at once and living without a mortgage. So it gives you a lot more sense of confidence, sense of freedom. You have, it's incredible when you don't have a mortgage hanging over your head, what you can do in life when your own place is all paid off. And that's why I chose to move here. I wanted to live without a mortgage and crazy expenses and having to borrow for everything, like you do in Europe or America. And they still have public transportation here. Things are in walking distance. Uber is fairly cheap. So, you're not getting yourself into debt and loans and all this. On $4,000 a month, you can, with an apartment paid off, let's say you come here with some savings, some $70,000, $80,000, and you have a job paying $4,000 a month, like some work from home job, or you open a small business here. You can take 2 vacations a year to Turkey. You can have a car, all paid. Not a fancy car, maybe a Skoda or something, or a used Toyota or something like this. But you can do well, and you can have like a rewarding life. And yeah, there's some bureaucracy and BS you have to deal with. There's a lot of knuckleheads here and people that you have to, the people here. It's like America. It is a lot like America. You have a lot of variation in the people. There's some people you really like, and some people you're just like wondering what's going on in their head. But so that's enough about life in Ukraine and what was happening. I don't know how it's going to be, after the war. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is like, what and when is victory? What would the victory look like, and when will it happen? The Ukrainians believe victory is like a complete withdrawal of the Russians, and everything goes back to the way it was even before 2014. And the Russians view victory as like getting some territory from Ukraine, disarming Ukraine, and making them, neutral, so that they can rearm themselves, learn their lessons, and build a new army and come back and take it all. So that's like the Russian view of victory. And I don't know, I get into arguments with people like saying that I think this is going to end up somewhere in the middle of those two. A swift end to this war. I suppose getting the Russians to withdraw, or withdraw partially, a swift end. I don't know if that would be a victory for Ukraine. Definitely if there's some negotiated settlement, it would be a loss of territory. I discussed this in other videos. The Russians really want the land bridge. They want this way from Russia to Crimea over land, and they want to surround the Azov Sea. That's what it's looking like. That's that's why they leveled Mariupol, and they're stealing people and committing war crimes. They want it that bad. That's so. Yeah, what it's so. I don't know, unless there's some really serious intervention or some miracle that Putin is assassinated. This is gonna drag on for a long time. They're not talking about the southern front so much. I mean, there are some victories there. The Ukrainians have done a counterattack and everything, and this is a situation where the Ukrainians are winning every war, but it's like trying to stamp out cockroaches or something. They keep coming back. The Russians keep coming at it, and yeah, they're depleted. They lost a lot of men, but they still have a lot in the gas tank. I mean, albeit incompetent forces, but it's just the sheer numbers. And in the background, what's happening is, the Russians are attacking the food infrastructure now. They burned down a tractor factory in Kharkiv, and then they're attacking food stores. They're attacking grain shipments, as far as I understand. So it's kind of like a long-term siege thing. And the famine sets in, and again, that puts another gun to the head of Zelensky at the negotiating table to force him into a settlement. So for Russia, I think the victory is getting that land bridge and seizing some territories in the east. And for Ukraine, the victory is to basically get the Russians completely out. And for me, the victory would be that they have to burn Moscow down. That's the only way this will ever stop. We have to have a regime change in Russia. I guess we had it in '91, but we weren't watching close enough. And we weren't, when we had our chance to get in there in '91, and also we had a chance to get in there in 1944, we didn't listen to General Patton. They keep rebuilding themselves into this authoritarian, maniacal state, if you give them the chance. So, I don't know. Like, for me, victory is like a complete regime change in Russia, and maybe even the country would have to be divided up. So, and completely disarmed, kind of like the way they did with Japan after World War II. And then it can only be, and then they would have to be unlike Japan with Russia, there would have to be a lot of European and American immigration in there to, kind of like in East Germany, to kind of build a new culture. Because Russia could, they have a lot of land resources, intellectual resources, a lot of engineers. It could be another America or Japan or Germany, if they, and I don't know why they didn't pursue that route, why they just became this like commodity country, like a gas station with nuclear weapons, why they didn't like pursue building a Toyota or pursue building a Google or something, instead they went like into this Bizarro universe. Bizarro is like a character in the Super Friends. I don't know if any of you watched Saturday morning cartoons back in the 70s, but he was like a bad Superman. But anyway, enough of that sidetrack. So yeah, when will we get this victory, and what will it look like? That's a question. I don't know, maybe some of you guys in the comments, there's a few of you that I like your comments, and I do respond to you. And this one is kind of a response to the guy telling me about Ukraine is winning the tactical battles. Yeah, they're doing a hell of a job. But in the background, like I said, some of the strategic, like food supplies, transportation, military radars, they're being knocked out little by little. So, 2 days ago we had like 5 air alarms in one day, and it turned out Rivne was hit. A military installation, air base was hit. And I imagine there's some, it's been hit a few times. It's in the news. I always take 1 or 2 days before I make comments on things, just to make sure I'm not, helping the enemy or something. There was a guy who was, TikToking some fuel trucks moving, and they got bombed. I don't ever want to do that. That's why I always have like backgrounds like this, like in my apartment, or just with trees or something. Or yeah, broken houses or whatever. So yeah, the sun is in the wrong place. So yeah, I mean, that's this is a case of winning the battles but losing the war, and everyone is saying Russia's winning the battles, losing the war, but I don't know. It can go a long time. Everyone thinks this is like a 1 month, 2 month thing, and then something new will come. It's not. This is a new way of life. This is the new normal, or new abnormal, or new. It's stressful. I can tell you that living this way, I get nightmares now. And I mean, I've been in the military, and stuff like that, but I guess it's just not knowing what happens next. I mean, even in the military, there's especially the U.S. military, there is some degree of predictability, and you can rely on the people around you. But when you're living here in Ukraine, I don't even know about the doctors. I think a lot of them went to the front, or a lot of them are occupied with soldiers. So I mean, I have to have a plan if I get really sick to go to Poland or something. So I have that organized. But you always have these dreams, like strange dreams that your apartment looks like this the next morning. I've had a few of those. So I guess it's like some subconscious worry about losing everything you worked for. It's like it's a bit troubling, I guess. Maybe it's a bit selfish. People have lost a lot more and everything, but I'm just telling us the facts, that it does disturb your sleep at night. But at the same time, just leaving, I don't know. I feel like if you're leaving and you're, always hiding and always scared, then it's like Putin is winning and telling you what to do. And I don't want that either. But I will have to go to Norway for a business trip and work stuff, but I'll come right back next month. I think in middle of April till middle of May, I'll take a trip to Norway and Poland, just to take a month off, as anybody would take a vacation, and go to Norway and see my boss and everything like that, and get my yearly review. I think it'll be a good one. The work is amazingly getting done. The remote work is really fun. But yeah, so that's what I want to talk about today. Is what form does the victory take, and when will it happen? But for sure, I don't think we're ever going back to the way it was. The only way that will happen is if the Russian inner circle serves NATO Putin's head on a platter. They bring Putin's head to the United Nations meeting or something, and pull it out of a box just like in some gory movie, and then ask for amnesty. They'll agree to withdraw all the soldiers, and they will give back all the territories in exchange for not being tried for war crimes, and then for dropping the sanctions. I think that would be the 1% event that could completely give a rewind to pre-2014. And I don't know, they are showing people around Putin are quitting. There's some dissent in Russia, but that's happened before. We've seen that before. I mean, a lot of people disagree with Putin. They leave Russia, or they end up in jail, or they end up dead. So I think he's still quite well insulated. He has like his elite guards, and he has like some very loyal generals, some very loyal people around him still. Some journalists told me in the center the other day that maybe it could happen, but I don't know. I'm doubtful. I think he's insulated himself pretty good, and the Russians support him. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, there is a lot of news now about some breakdowns in Russia, but Russia has always been like that. So I'm a bit skeptical. I'm definitely want Ukraine to win. I don't want my skepticism to be perceived as pro-Russian. I'm just trying to be realistic. I just want to, when you're realistic and you know where everything is, it helps you navigate better and helps you make better decisions about what to do next. I mean, if you're totally just believing everything you hear that suits your views, it can lead you to make very bad decisions. But I really don't know, actually. I mean, it could happen, I guess. I mean, if a lot of people are losing a lot of money and there's a chance that they can't leave Russia, kids can't leave Russia, and they could go to war crimes trial at some point in their life. You know, if Russia has a complete economic collapse and these guys are burned and hanged out in the street, like that's usually the way change of power happens in Russia. You know, look at the Romanovs, look at the October Revolution in the 1917. It's always an ending, a bad ending. It's only in 91 when the Soviet Union collapsed that it wasn't such a bad ending. You know, it was like a kind of a peaceful ending. But normally in Russian history, everything happens with a lot of drama and blood. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Putin's days are numbered, or this is just usual Russian business? Anyway, take care, and we'll see you soon.